Hello. This is the Contest Fantasy Footy Show where we bring you 2 shows a week. Wind, rain or shine. Sometimes we're a little late though, but we always get there. I'm Jesse. I like redraft. I'm with K-Man, a dual hat winner. We're your hosts. We like fantasy footy. You can follow me on Twitter at Contest Fantasy. You can follow K-Man on Twitter at K-Man_TC Fantasy. Mate, good to see you. How you doing tonight? It's been a bit of a day, hasn't it?
We have had more technical flaws than Ollie Pope's cover drive at the moment. That was hard work just getting us online, wasn't it?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it takes me back to the early days of the pod, like, you know, that first sort of month where I don't think we recorded a single episode in that first month that we didn't have to then re-record because the audio was rubbish or something. Man, this is
the repeater.
It's the repeater. It's what is that? What are you referencing there? The repeater?
I don't know. It's something.
Oh, okay. I thought it was our age difference or something.
Yeah, it could be something. The repeater. It was something.
Oh, mate. All right. Well, I'm a bit uncomfortable today because I don't know if anyone noticed, but it really bothered me in our last episode. I was sitting in a squeaky chair and I could listen, and I was listening to the episode back and I could just hear the squeaks constantly throughout the episode. So I'm currently sitting in a dining chair, which is not ergonomically designed, I might say. And my back is, anyway, it's going to be an experience. I'm sorry. I'm probably boring people. Yes.
Is it from the chair company?
It's
have you checked it out yet? Have you seen any of it?
So we went to, but it's on HBO Max because we got a Prime subscription to watch something else, and we were like, oh, it's there, but it's on HBO. We don't have HBO Max, so we were going to watch it with Jimmy Jams because he's got access to things that we don't have access to. So I'll get there eventually. I don't know. He offered to be a producer. We could get all fancy.
He was going to be on the show. He's actually going to be on the show.
I think it was in the background. He was going to do the music for us and it's like the turntable. Yeah, he's driving. He'd be like Kramer. Be like Kramer on the back of the fire truck, just like taking control. We got a good show lined up today. It seems like the entire fantasy community at the moment is doing their player reviews, player reviews, going line by line, defenders, midfielders. We thought we should probably get stuck into that too. For most people listening, they actually haven't been around long enough. Most people haven't been listening to the pod for long enough to know how we approach this. We're bringing back fantasy fights, baby.
Fantasy fights, baby.
It's so good, isn't it? If you haven't been listening to the pod for too long, because I was looking at our growth. We have grown exponentially. And even this year, we have gained more followers on Spotify this year than we gained in probably the first 6 months or the first 4 months of the pod last year. So that's been incredible growth this year.
So we're up to 30. That's amazing. Thank you for your support, everyone.
Awesome support. It's so cool that we started this thing as just like a couple of mates sort of having a bit of fun, and we have actually got a bit of an audience. So thank you for tuning in. Yeah. But my point there is not to do a bit of a humble brag. My point there is that most people listening have not actually heard Fantasy Fights before. So
missing out.
The way we do this, I really like it. I think it's a bit, instead of giving you the same list of midfielders or defenders or premiums or underpriced premiums, whatever, instead of giving you the same list that everyone else has given you, and not to say that like everyone does an amazing job. I love listening to all the pods, but we don't want to just kind of add to that same ocean of information. So we thought what we would do instead is we're going to break this down rather than going line by line. We're going to go category by category. So this episode is going to be underpriced premiums. We're going to do an episode of mid prices, and we're going to do an episode of breakouts. And we're going to explore 2 midfielders, 2 defenders, and 2 forwards, maybe some rucks in some other episodes as well. And we're going to fight it out. I've made a case for a player at each line. K-Man's made a case for a player at each line. And then we're going to pass it over to you on Twitter and in the comments on Spotify to decide who's the winner. Who are you starting in your teams this year? But before we get to that, we thought there have been a few more training notes, so we might do a really quick section of around the grounds. I'm just going to read these out live, these training notes. K-Man's going to react to them. We're just going to have a chat, see if there's anything to take away, and then we're going to get stuck into those fantasy fights.
Round 1.
Last thing I would say before we get stuck into the show, if you're able, we would love it if you could give us a 5-star rating on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. We've got a YouTube channel now. Head on over there, the Contest Fantasy Footy Show on YouTube. We're uploading our full podcast, video podcast, but we're also doing some shorts and some segments potentially as well. So go over there, subscribe, like the videos, watch them over there if that's what you prefer. Thank you very much for the support, everybody. Let's get into some around the ground stuff, hey? So we've got 4 teams that information has come out for, and we're going to start with GWS. Mate, I see. I haven't even got it loaded properly onto my phone here. This is just appalling. We're going to start with GWS, and all of these training notes come from Nerds for Life Supercoach on Twitter. Probably the best training notes source. Yeah, absolutely elite work. So I'll just go through these. Stephen Cornelio. This is a name that I've actually been thinking about lately. Form of his life. Shape of his life. Stephen Cornelio, he's got mid status this year, and it says he's working on his fitness and pace over summer. He looks like he can recapture some of his old best footy. Massive pod if true. How do you feel about the idea of starting a Stephen Cornelio?
Oh, no, it'd have to be an impressive month, but boy, if it's old Steve Cornelio at that price, mate, it'll be interesting when Oliver comes back. We know Josh Kelly's out, but if it's back to the old, the Stephen Cornelio we loved, the Stephen Cornelio who was hitting tons on a regular basis, the Steve Cornelio who was sometimes our captain choice, you can't help but have an eye. And if it's real, the next month is real, you've got to consider him. He's an absolute gun.
He's elite. So he's 783K. He is 32 years old. I thought about it. My only thing is, like, you're right. If he has a great month, got to look at it. My only thing is,
it's got to be the month.
They're batting deep at midfield now. Like, you've got a number of names in there. I almost said Noah Anderson. I always think of Orange when I think of both Gold Coast and GWS for some reason.
It's funny you should say that.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
But we've got Tom Green. We've got Clayton Oliver over there now as well. Who am I? I'm just like blanking on the GWS midfield.
Greeny boy.
Finn Callahan. Tom Green, Finn Callahan, and Clayton Oliver. And then you've obviously got, like, I think Josh Kelly's going to be out with injury. But so it's just hard to see how much time he's going to get in the middle, but could be a really interesting one to watch.
That's interesting.
Jake Stringer has just resumed training after a week with a calf strain. Probably not relevant for us in fantasy, but yay for Stringer.
Yeah, that's great.
Tom Green and Finn Callahan. Here we go. Still both the main mids, despite Oliver's arrival. Green mentioned in an interview that Clayton Oliver's arrival will only add to that midfield and not take away anything from these two. I think it'll improve Callahan's outside game significantly. I really agree with that. Callahan is a name that I asked, Pod put their thing out on Twitter. Who do you want us to talk about in our midfielders episode? Haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. But I want to know about Finn Callahan because I really like the idea of targeting those outside players this year. Do you kind of feel the same way?
Oh, well, I mean, he's a handball receive target, isn't he? He's a distributor. He's a run and carry. So all of a sudden, not only have you got Tom Green, you've got Clayton Oliver to do the in and under as well. He now has two avenues for handball receives. So, it just means he's going to get more ball, doesn't it?
Totally. I agree. Tom Green, I'm not really interested in, but I think it looks like he's looking good. Or maybe I'm interested in him later. We'll have to see what that looks like this year. Clayton Oliver's still 1 or 2 weeks away from the main group, so that's concerning, but hopefully he gets enough of a preseason in for us to consider him. Toby Green, a couple of weeks away. Jesse Hogan, a couple of weeks away. So that's kind of all there is to take away from GWS. And injuries to key personnel, hey?
Yeah, huge experience.
Like, these are all the guys that you need.
Looking rough.
But that's okay. It's
long season.
You just had to get it out. That's right.
Tsunami and wheelchairs. It's terrible.
The orange wheelchair tsunami. Port Adelaide is the next team. Todd Marshall. Okay, so this is the funny one, isn't it, of the preseason? Todd Marshall is training in defense, and he had kick-ins. Right. So this has been the name that's been on the pods lately, is Todd Marshall training in defense. I think Goat Fantasy maybe has been mentioning him as well. Any interest in Todd Marshall as a defender?
None.
Well, I mean, in the forward line, but playing defense. You know what I mean?
No, I'd have to see. I want to see practice matches. I want to see. No,
You can't start it, can you?
no,
You can't
I
start that
with any confidence in any way, shape, or form.
I had
Marshall as a kick-in specialist. Okay.
Well, let's be real. He's had some trouble in front of goal, hasn't he? Maybe he could use that flexibility of a lead, perhaps. Maybe sending out the leads rather than offering them up.
Is there anything on Alec Berg? The Bergman.
The Bergman. Yes. So he played on Rosie in a defensive midfield role. In the midfield.
There it
so
is.
K-Man, give it to us because we were talking about Bergman this week, and you have a bit of a take. So spell it out for us. What are you worried about?
Yeah, my worry with Bergman is I just don't know what his role in that midfield is. I don't see him as a distributor. I don't see him as in under handball release. I just see him as that defensive player. You got Ollie Wines. Butters is obviously the dynamic element to that midfield, whether Rosie floats in and out but has the halfback role. Drew, bit of a shutdown player, can also play on the wing at times. Bergman concerns me. I can see him requiring 6 to 8 tackles a game to have any relevance from week to week. So, yeah, I'm rethinking that as a value pick at the moment.
And this is the interesting one, isn't it? Because Bergs is the one that everyone's kind of jumping on at the moment. He's in my team. He's been in some versions of your teams. This is so not analytical at all, but like I've just been going, I was so wrong about Adam Chera last year, and I was like being oppositional to be oppositional, and I didn't start him, and then it was like my worst non-starting pick of the year, and I kind of just don't want to miss out on that mid-pricer again that everyone gets in their team. But you make a good point, and this kind of adds a little bit of fuel to your fire.
I also think that he also seems to be a guy who might spend a week floating around halfback or half forward. I just don't see that full-time, locked in, very much like a Dylan Moore. Now, they're completely different players, don't get me wrong, but you said it last week. You have no confidence that Dylan Moore is going to be a central midfielder with full-time minutes. Sometimes he ends up on the wing, sometimes he's forward pocket. I get that vibe with Alec Berg. I think he could spend time or could be a fix-it player if there's a key injury. I think, as I said, Butters solidified, Wine solidified, Drew solidified. They picked up some personnel through recruitment. I just see Bergman would be the first one out if there's an issue.
Okay, we got to fly through some of these. Zach Butters looked great.
Yeah,
taking on everyone he comes across through the midfield. Connor Rozee played in the midfield, but it is worth noting, they needed to field two sides. So he's going to play in the mids to give the other mids time as well. He's trained with defense in other sessions. Will Brodie, great in the CBA action.
Will Brodie.
I'm not touching Will Brodie at this stage. I feel like it's a bit of a trap with Ollie Wines coming back into the team after a couple of games. So I think he's an interesting option, but I think he could be potentially a forced trade as well. So, there's possibly other options around a similar price or a little bit more expensive that I think you could get your hands on.
What's
Mitch Georgiades.
Do we know?
Hornet.
JHF?
I'm getting there. Jeez,
Oh, you're getting there. Okay.
There's a lot of information here to cover.
Well, who's your next one?
Mitch Georgiades, I just want to say, is running
Let's
through the midfield.
get straight to the Hornet.
Okay. Geez, we can't create clickbait, can we? Hornet running laps with a slight limp. So,
yeah.
I mean, there you go.
Okay, Georgiades.
All right.
That's why Georgiades is in there.
No, moving on. But you're probably right, to be fair. We're not touching Georgiades. I think that's it, really, in terms of what's fantasy relevant to come out of Port. This is not on the run sheet, but I just want to note that 5 days ago, Super Footy noted that Tom McCarthy was best on ground again, and he was dominating. Dominating. I will say this: how hard is it to be the best on ground dominant midfielder at West Coast training?
West Coast Eagles.
I don't know. One to watch still, probably. Okay, Gold Coast. Some updates here. Jamara looking really good up forward, and he's in secondary ruck duties. So that's could actually be someone to watch.
Interesting space. cheap.
You're not going to start him. You're not going to start him. But it could be a fun trade in later if it works out. I don't know.
What do you think for
Leo
draft?
Lombard. I like it.
Could he be
I like
anything?
it because I think he could go undrafted in a lot of leagues. I think people will just be put off or they're not thinking about him or whatever. I think he's going to be pretty low on ADP, although I haven't checked ADPs yet. I don't know if they're available yet. I think he'll go undrafted a lot of the time. And you know what? Take a round 12, 13, 14 flyer on Jamari Ugelhagen, I think is not a bad option. If he doesn't do anything in the first 2 weeks, you just drop him to waivers, pick someone else up. Easy. Leo Lombard could be securing himself a wing role this year, which is interesting. I don't mind it because Leo Lombard had a lot of tout coming in as a junior, as a rookie. Sorry, so that could be one to watch in the preseason. Zeke Euland looking classy, it's making push for opening round. Bailey Humphrey on fire, tackle pressure, very impressive. Track being present complicates this one.
Did it say where he was playing? Did it give any indication of?
No, it just says that he's a dual DPP in fantasies, mid-forward status, so no real indication on there. But one to watch, see how much mid-time he's getting. I kind of feel like Bailey Humphrey is not a classic guy. I just don't think he's a classic guy or he's going to be a classic guy. I think he's always a reasonable pickup to stream in draft. Either chuck him on your bench and stream him, but he's a classy guy. That's right. Christian Petrarca played on Matt Rao in the midfield.
That would have been cool to watch.
Rao. I regret doing that. Dan Rioli, great running carry out of defense. Good link work with Will Powell as well. I think that's everything, really. Avery Thomas looks great in the air. I don't really know anything about Avery Thomas. Is he a rookie? Don't know. That's it for Gold Coast. Last one, Sydney. This is the last team that we're going to cover. Charlie Curnow kicked a couple goals, looked really good. One of the standouts. I still think Charlie Curnow is an excellent option in a redraft if you can get him in the late mid-round, sort of like round 8+ kind of thing. Maybe a little bit later, maybe 9+. Charlie Curnow could be really cool. Callum Mills is starting to move freely now. He's returned to full training from that hamstring niggle that he picked up before the new year, I think it was. Errol Goulden looking fit. Dominant everywhere, all over the ground. Everywhere. He's in and out of my team. Is he in and out of your team?
Not yet.
No? Okay.
But opening round, massive.
Big watch. Heen Dog looks fit. That's it. That's all it says. Looks fit, green tick.
Good chat. Good chat. Thanks for the notes.
Moving on. Brody Grundy and Joel Amadi. Okay. Grundy and Amadi entered concussion protocols. They had a head clash. So that's no good. I've been too focused on work. Hadn't heard of that. Jai Sarong securing a spot in the Swans defensive 6, perhaps. So very cheap player. Something to watch there.
Yeah.
Jesse Detoli was impressive. Now, I am a big Jesse Detoli fan, but he is a small forward. So probably not a classic guy. We're not really interested in him. But someone to watch maybe in keeper leagues. If he's out there for redraft keeper leagues and you have an opportunity, pick him up because he was highly touted. That's it. I think that's all the fantasy relevant stuff for Sydney. Happy with that?
Yeah, I just literally read about 20 minutes ago that Jai Cully had another cracking session for the Ds.
Excellent.
He's pushing.
Right,
he's pushing, but still a lot of personnel out.
Should we do fantasy fights?
Let's fight.
Let's do it. We got music too. I'm going to play.
Oh, are you going to play it?
Yes. I'm going to play them. Yeah, fantasy fight. Fight. That's awesome.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, you didn't hear it?
Oh, I got nothing.
Well, that's a shame. That's a shame.
That's a shame. Was it the Mortal Kombat sounding?
Yeah. It was like a fight. It was really cool. Jimmy Jams.
Thanks, Jimmy Jams.
Shout out to Ledge. He is absolutely cracking with our sound bites. So hopefully we can love to have you on the show as a producer. All right, round 1. Everyone, this episode, we are talking underpriced premiums exclusively. We're going to give you 3 rounds: midfield round, defender round, forward round. We would usually give you 4, but we just don't think there are any rucks that truly qualify as underpriced premiums. We'll talk about that at a later stage when we do talk about rucks. Round 1, I'll kick us off. We're talking Errol Goulden versus surprise. Although I think I know.
Surprise!
I think I might know who it is. Can I guess? Can I put
Yeah,
out a
do
guess?
it.
Noah Anderson.
Nando's chicken.
Nando
Absolutely.
Supreme. All right. Errol Goulden versus Nando Supreme. So, how this is going to work, I'm going to give my argument for why I think Errol Goulden is an excellent underpriced premium starting option. K-Man's going to give his argument for his player, and then we're going to let you decide after the fact. Down in the comments on Spotify, let us know on Twitter. We might check a poll out as well. All right, I'm going to hurry up and get to it. Errol Goulden's going to cost you 1.073 million. He was about to be nearly a $2 million player just then. 1.073 million. He's super young. He's 23. I feel like he's
crazy.
26. He's 23.
Yeah.
He is young enough that I could have taught him in high school.
Gun. Absolute
Wild.
gun.
It's crazy that that's where I am in my life now. Okay, I'm going to rattle off a few averages. His 2025 average coming back from injury was 102.3, which, by the way, I think is elite in and of itself, given the injury that he had. He was right back into it. 2024 was 106. 2023 was that beautiful season where Sydney were humming and he averaged 112. And I was like, okay, what's the deal here? Where can we find this value? Because everyone's talking about, I've heard people say like, oh, you could average 120. I wanted to find out exactly what the deal with him was. His CBAs don't really change. He's like a 30 to 45% guy, depending on the season, depending on the game. It's always been consistent that way. So we don't have to look to CBAs. He isn't impacted by the Chad. He isn't impacted by Heaney, nor does he really impact those guys. All right. Are you laughing at the Chad?
The Chad.
Nor does he really impact those guys. And there are a couple flags with him as well. He's got the round 3 bye. Do you fall behind coaches who select Butters, who select Caldwell, who select Steele? Does Steele have an early bye? Can't remember. Do you fall behind some of those coaches? Not if you select one of them too, I don't think. And if you balance it across your lines, I think it's kind of all come out in the wash. So I'm not convinced that. I think the round 2 bye is not the best, but I think round 3 and 4 is nowhere near as dangerous. The other flag that people have noted about him is that he's got a tough opening fixture. So he's got Brisbane and Hawthorn in the first 2 rounds. Here's the thing. His average against Brisbane across 2023, 24, and 25, 111.8. He averages 111.8 against us. He has a floor against us of 93 and a ceiling of 133. Against Hawthorn, and I'll admit, he's only played Hawthorn twice in the last 3 years.
Really?
Because of injuries and just awkward scheduling and things. But in those, he averages 120 across those 2 games. So despite these being tough matchups, the thing is, because he's not in the center middle, because he floats in, I don't think he's impacted by the defensive game of, say, Dunkley or something like that from Brisbane. Because he's not a guy off half back, he's not getting shut down. I think he just kind of does what he wants. And so despite them traditionally being tough matchups for midfielders, I just don't think they're actually that big a deal for someone like Errol Goulden and what his role is. So this is the question we're left with. How does he get back to averaging 110 plus? And what's his true ceiling? I think it's all about the system. When Sydney was humming in 2023, he was on fire. They've added Curnow now, so they've found their big guy up forward. Joel Amadi, I think from memory's a bit fuzzy. Joel Amadi was having a pretty good season in 2023, I believe. They've got that key forward. Mills should be back and reinstalled. He's going to have a solid role off that back line. It's the second year in a new regime now as well. So it's not the first year of a new coach. It's the second year. There's the benefit of 2 preseasons to kind of get their stuff sorted out. I think Sydney are going to be a strong unit this year, and I think Errol Goulden should regain his spot as an elite player. The relevance of those guys like Mills up the back, like Curnow up the front, I think the relevance of them is just to the system as a whole. And if the system is working and functioning as it's designed to, then I think all of the individual cogs in that system are good. I think he'll finish the top 5 mid. I reckon he could do 115. I think 120, I would never project someone is going to average 120. So I think he's got 10 to 13 points of upside. At minimum, he's got 5 points of upside. I think he's safely going to do 107. That's my argument. That's Errol Goulden. I think he's a really good shout.
Oh, sorry, mate. I fell asleep. Look,
I thought you were having a moment there for a minute. I was like, oh my gosh, what's happened here? Did I go on for too long? I'm sorry. Jeez. Just trying to mount an argument. Wow.
No, mate, that was great. All those numbers and everything, fantastic. Sorry, I nodded off. Look, he's
biggest smartass I've ever met.
What was great, what I do like about Gould, he's right. He's different. He's unique. He's not your typical midfielder. He almost plays as a classic wingman at times, but as you said, gets licensed to go wherever he wants. His ability to pick up plus sixes in back pocket, just forward of defensive 50 is, you can't compare that to a number of players in the competition. Again, very similar to Ashcroft, where he just pops up. He's so isolated at times, and it must be his running capacity, his ability to get outside and then not have opposition who can just keep up with his running capabilities. And that's where he gets those build scores. He does pop in the midfield at times through rotation. He's popped a few goals as well. The bye is an issue, and that start, as you said, is an issue. It depends how he starts the season, and preseason notes are he's killing it at school and of old. If he can stay fit. I
just want to say, is the start an issue? I just laid out why it's not an issue.
Well,
he averages over 100 against both teams. But I know.
Yeah.
I know. You're being reasonable.
Wow. Just trying to come up with something because I think he's a gun. He's a gun. And at the moment, we've talked about Caldwell.
Yeah.
Caldwell, Goulden, it kind of seems to be this M1 debate. Excuse me. I don't know about you, but I'm fading slightly on Caldwell. So someone like Goulden, if you say he does what you think he's going to do against those opponents, then he could jump the ladder. Because Caldwell, in comparison, he's not the player I'm going to talk about. But with the
bonus player
addition of Parrish, the young guys coming through, you'd expect Merritt maybe to get more midfield time with potentially losing him last season. I'm actually concerned about Caldwell compared to maybe a lot of coaches out there. So Goulden's slightly in front for me. It's still a lot of money. There's a lot of money to bank in. And what do you reckon his upside is?
I think it could be anywhere from 5 to 13 points. So I think 5 points is probably a minimum. I think he can do 107. But if he can go to like 115, then it's like 10 to 13 points of upside. Because he did 112 a couple of years ago, which would be 10 points. Yeah. But I think he's a great option. There's obviously those couple of flags there in the early fixture and the bye. Tell me about Noah Anderson.
I'm going to raise you a Nando chicken. Noah Anderson priced at 99. 99, Jesse. And this is where it's a really interesting story because that's right, I said story. When he scores a ton, he scores big. And if my computer didn't just absolutely explode before we recorded this pod, I could rattle off those numbers. And I can't.
Do you want me to help you out? Do you want me to go to DFS?
Well, what you'll see with DFS is he will have a series of amazing scores, but what he does he does have that 60 floor, which brings that average down. My point is, I don't think he does that this year. He doesn't every so often have a 60 because they're bad. They're really bad.
They're not great.
It's not a 90. It's not an 85. He will hit, I think he hit a couple of 40s. He hit a 50.
48 last
48.
year.
Here's the run. Geelong opening round. We get a crack. Not only do we get a crack, but we get a crack against the team that was in the grand final, and we see how they respond. We then go to West Coast. Richmond, a depleted Melbourne. Yes, a tough matchup against the Swans. Into the Bombers. Hawks at UTAS. GWS with injuries, and St Kilda. You want to talk a man of upside? I think he's got 5 to 8 points minimum just from that run. But it's his score build. It is his score build. He's a distributor. He's a handball receiver from Rowell. Took Miller as well. And he loves that quarterback role in front of defensive 50. He's a loose ball get player. And he's a 90% time on ground player. If all of those things are ticked against those opening out 8 rounds, this guy is 10 points unders. And I know what you're going to say. I know your argument against, Petrarca's in there, too many mouths to feed. But my bro, Petrarca is a different player altogether. He's a forward impact player who bursts out of stoppage. Anderson's completely different. Raul is in and under, but if Anderson now has that opportunity because of what Petrarca's doing, I can see him getting more uncontested ball, back of stoppage, and that's where he's going to lap it up. Noah Anderson is 8 to 10 points unders, my man, and for that price, he is a really good starting pick.
Geez, I thought you were an HPE teacher, mate, not an English teacher with all those persuasion skills. Wow, look at that! Look at that pathos that you're using there, tugging on my emotional something or other. I can't really talk right now. That was a really solid argument. 10 points of upside is interesting.
I reckon for that start.
You reckon? Okay, because he's coming off an average of 98.7. Has he cracked 100 average yet? He has. Yeah. Okay, 2024 103, 2023 100 flat. 98 in 2022. So, yeah.
So here's my question, right? You've got Petrarca, you got Anderson, you got Raul. Who do you need to stop? Who can you stop?
See, we talked about this last year.
Brownlow medalist.
Yeah,
Petrarca.
because Raul is just that stoppage machine, that tackle machine. You stop him, maybe you get a little bit more space with the ball. But, I mean, Anderson is the key to every mechanism they've got, really. As soon as the ball's in his hands, they're away. So I think it's still I think it's Anderson, but I think you're right. I think like teams they're gonna be trying everything, aren't they? You've got to.
I mean, you can't let a Brownlow medalist do what he does at stoppage. You can't let Petrarca go out the front of stoppage.
Yeah,
that's right.
No, that's true.
So I think structurally it's an interesting watch.
All right. Who won round one? Let us know either in the comments on Spotify. We'll chuck a poll up on Twitter as well. Should I play the music again, like per round? Or just...
love to hear it.
I wonder if you can hear it. Let's see if you can hear it this time. Music's coming back again.
Fight!
Yes!
You heard it. Love it.
That was
love
awesome.
It. I'm so glad you could hear that. It's loud, but I love it.
That was loud.
Beautiful.
That's
fantastic.
Jimmy
Okay. We're going to defenders. So round 2 of our underpriced premiums, defensive line, Josh Dacos versus Jack Sinclair. Now, you stole Jackie Sinclair from me, really. I brought him up in the first episode we ran. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But that's okay because I was originally going to go with Callum Mills because I thought, I wasn't really interested in him. But I thought, this is an interesting name to talk about. And then I saw he cost like $950,000 and I looked at it and I was like, it's not a thing. I'm not interested. But I found a player I am interested in Josh Dacos. And I have mentioned Josh Dacos a couple times on the pod this year, very early on. And I want to bring it back. I want to rehash it. So $988K, he's 27 years old, so he's in his prime. His last 3
Is he 27?
years. He's 27.
Yeah, right. That's
old or
surprising.
young to you?
That was a bit older
young?
than what I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
I must admit.
Well, it's because he kind of like he got into the Collingwood side, but he was sort of in and out for the first few years of his career, wasn't he? Like he kind of didn't solidify his spot for a while. So I feel like he feels like a bit of a late bloomer, but he's so elite that you'd think. Anyway, look, he averaged 94 last year, 94 the year before, 90 the year before that, and this was as a winger and a defender. So he's done all of those scores, really solid scores, like pretty verging on top 6 at his position, at least last year when he played defense, playing wing and defensive roles. Here's my argument for Josh Dacos. It's really, really simple. I think Collingwood need him in the midfield this year. Collingwood's primary midfield options are Nick Dacos, Scott Pendlebury, Steele Sidebottom, and Jack Crisp. Then you kind of go one layer out and you've got those role players who have impact and they roll them through the midfield. So you got your Jordan De Goey, you got Pat Lipinski even, and then you go one kind of layer out again and you've got those true role player guys who are maybe like, they're really good, but they're kind of the B team. You got Ned Long, you got Harry Perryman. These are the guys who can play midfield, but they're not going to be the stars. So if I take you back to those names, Nakos, he's in there, lock it away. Scott Pendlebury, Steele Sidebottom. These guys are, I love them to bits. They're legends of the game. They're old though. They're old footy players and they need to protect them. Okay. And I think they're going to manage them as well. When Josh Dacos attends essentially 10% or more CBAs, he averages 98. Now, that doesn't sound that amazing, but that is like 10% CBAs here, 11 there, 13 there, maybe a pop game at 40%. I think it makes sense for him to go in the middle and for it to be Nick Dacos, Josh Dacos, and Jack Crisp as the main three guys that run through there. I think they'll rest Sidebottom and Pendles a lot. I think if he has a mid-time role, he could easily put 10 to 15 points on that 94 score. Easily. Like when we're talking about consistent, let's even say consistently 40% plus CBAs. I'm not even saying 90% or 80 or 70% CBAs. Let's say 40 to 50% CBAs. I see no reason why he can't average 100. And I think if he could potentially average more than that as well. So that's it. That's all I've got. I just think Josh Dacos makes sense. The team is getting old. The midfield needs a refresh. Collingwood struggled last year. They struggled a little bit the year before. I think it's time for a change. And actually, the one thing I forgot to mention is, well, who replaces Josh Dacos at halfback? Dan Houston, baby. Last year, what happened to Dan Houston? My prediction, and I said this at the beginning of the season, I think it's a once-off. I referenced Lachie Schultz the first year he came into Collingwood's system. He had a tough year. What did he do the following year? He was awesome for that team. I think Dan Houston's going to do the same thing. I think he probably needed a year to find his feet. He struggled a little bit. Obviously, there was some stuff going on. I think maybe there's been some health niggles in the preseason. I'm not didn't he have surgery or something? Assuming he's healthy, though, I think it makes sense to give him that halfback role, move Jacos into the midfield, and say, see you later. Let's stick with this moving forward. So my argument is predicated on that fact. If he moves to the midfield, then I think he's a really, really good option. If that's something we see in preseason, then I think we can actually jump on him as a value option.
Yeah. Houston, we have a problem.
We do.
Sorry,
yeah. I actually forgot about the surgery when I wrote this spiel. I gotta Google Dan Houston, see how he's doing.
But that bit makes sense. If he's getting the issue is, and they don't seem to do it much, and I'm really intrigued whether it's too much for a like, but they never seem to have Nick and Josh in there at the same time. It seems to be one transitioning, the other one comes out. So last year, I had Josh Dacos in my defensive line. If Nick was getting tagged and was getting attention, he would shift. He would either shift to the halfback space or even the forward space, and it was Josh that would come in and give that dynamic run, that injection of speed that we've all seen, and we're just crying out for Josh Dacos to get that midfield minutes, consistent midfield minutes, because he's so dynamic. It's just whether they're going to have the both of them in there. And if they do have both of them in there, then what's the defensive structure in there? Who do you think would be our defensive or Collingwood's defensive mid if they're both in there?
Yeah, that's true.
Is DeGoey suddenly giving?
Well, he could be.
Jack Crisp.
Jack Crisp is who I was kind of leaning towards. I'm just trying to get.
They've lost
Crisp's
Mitchell.
Stuff. How old's Jack Crisp? Jack Crisp is 32, so like he could kind of struggle. I think Ned Long is an option. The thing is, I guess with Ned Long, you kind of wonder like what's his long-term capability or his long-term capacity as a midfield.
You said long term.
Oh.
You had his name. Well done. You didn't even realize you did it.
Didn't even realize I did it. Look, Jack Crisp tackle numbers are pretty solid. Like 8, 4, 7, 13, 3, 6, 2. Like this guy, he's the name that I've that I would lean towards. He is a bit. I hesitated because he's 32, so you do wonder like what's his capacity to lay those tackles as he's getting a bit older as well. But he still looks pretty solid to me. So I would lean Jack Crisp with maybe like Ned Long kind of going in there. But I just look at those Dacos brothers and I just think like you've got these two youthful midfielders at your disposal.
Yeah.
You've recruited Dan Houston for a reason. I know he's got suspension stuff, he's got health stuff going on, but let's say by week 5 has that kind of sorted itself out. As long as Dan Houston finds his feet, part of me wonders if the plan was maybe always for Josh Dacos to kind of go into the midfield, and it just didn't work out that way because they couldn't trust Dan Houston to do what he needed to do. So
It's almost
that would
like
be
they
my
don't
thinking.
want to put. It's almost like they don't want to put all their eggs into one basket, one area of the field. So if they're both in the midfield, are they more deficient in the back line by taking one of them out? Do you know what I mean? It just
Could
doesn't
be.
seem. I don't know whether it's a confidence thing, game style thing, but having both of them in that midfield structure is going to have to be new. But if he has the midfield minutes, absolutely the ceiling and floor.
That's all my argument is as well. That's all my
yeah.
argument is like if we see a consistent across the preseason, Josh Dacos, he's really training with the mids, then I think he becomes an option. But if we see that he's still off half back, then probably not a starting option. Talk to me about our boy, Jack Sinclair.
Yeah, we both love him. And to be honest, not a lot of chat about Jack Sinclair. We're talking Rosie as a D1 lock. And if I compare him to Jack Sinclair, priced at 100, it's still very expensive. But if Wang's in the middle and he is sole half back, that's the bit where I'm not hearing a lot of chat. I mean, Maria's Magic does these great write-ups, and I had to take a bit. If you haven't been a member, please sign up for membership Maria's Magic. But he averages 108 when Wang has 38% CBA time. And if Wang's going to get more of that, having that season under his belt, Ross Lyon, we saw the damage that he did last year. Do you remember watching that game he won for them in the last quarter?
It was insane. Wild.
I mean, to keep that guy in the midfield, if that happens, suddenly Sinclair for mine's in the picture. Sole halfback, kick-ins, and preseason report was he is doing the kick-ins. So starting at 100, if we're paying that amount of money and we're trying to secure a top six forward that we think is slightly unders, then I think he could be 5 to 8 points unders if he is sole halfback. It's him or Rosie, I think, at the start. I know Rosie is the popular pick. I'm going to be honest, I don't like either, and I probably just lost the fight. But I think there's more value in your Newmans, your Colemans, maybe Alex Berg and Kirch. But if you want a D1 that has upside, I actually think Jack Sinclair's got it. The Ross Lyon factor is still a problem. He still scores well when he's in the midfield. Game style, whether they're going to change that chip, maintain possession, and then transition is going to be interesting in preseason games. Is he going to speed it up? That's the question mark. But sole halfback with kick-ins, Jack Sinclair could be back to what he was 2 years ago.
So really your argument isn't start Jack Sinclair. It's if you're looking for a D1 with a true D1 with upside, start Jack Sinclair, which I quite like because I've been playing around a lot lately with actually just not starting one of those true D1 guys. Like I've been going a budget defensive line. I've cooled on Rosie myself. I just don't think there's a lot of meat on the bone with Connor Rosie. I think 104 is probably what he's going to do again this year within a point or two. And so I'm just not convinced that there's a ton of value to be had there. I do agree with you, though. Jack Sinclair, if he's got that back line to himself and he can be that general up back, just kind of controlling the movement of the ball out of their back line, then I think there's some opportunity for him to get some extra points there. But I do agree with you that going with like a more budget back line is something that I've been tinkering with lately as well. Something like a Colby maybe being D1 or something like that. Let us know what you think on Twitter or in the comments. Should I play the music again? Are you sick of it? Or play it again? It's pretty cool.
I love it. Play it
Let's
again.
play it again. Yeah, I like it.
Fight!
Beautiful. Round 3,
Dude.
Final round for this episode. We are going forwards, underpriced premiums. Adam Treloar versus Christian Petrarca. I waffled on a bit with the other two. This is a heavy hitter because they're both really comparable, and I think most people are probably going to have to decide which one of these guys they're going to go with.
Ooh, I've got a question about that. But anyway,
I waffled on with the last two. I'm not waffling with Adam Treloar because the argument is so simple. Sorry, I'm looking down at my notes. I'm old and I have paper. 2 years ago, he was the top averaging player in fantasy football. That's it. That's the argument. He's pure value. I've got a couple more dot points here, but he's less than $1 million. He's priced at 90, so you wish he was priced a little bit lower, but he averaged like 115 or 120 or something silly a couple of years ago. what do you reckon? At least 10 points unders if he's healthy and he's got his midfield role. Let's say he hasn't even got like he's not even a top 3 midfielder in that team. Let's say he's the 4th or maybe even the 5th banana. If he's getting regular CBAs at a reasonable percentage, like 30 to 50% or something like that, he can still average really, really well. He's Adam Treloar. If he's healthy, in my opinion, you just start him. Unless he's somehow got some terrible role that we're really aware of. I don't know. That's it. That's the argument. He's Adam Treloar. If he's healthy, start him. What do you reckon?
Okay. First question.
Yeah.
Can someone explain to me what the banana thing is? I don't get it.
Yeah,
What
I don't
does
get it
mean?
either. I just say it because everyone says it. Well, it's like muscle memory now.
Is it like
It's
a
the,
group
it's the
of bananas?
traders, right?
There's 4
What's
of
the-
them.
Yeah, maybe. It's the traders
don't
thing,
know.
right?
Well, someone can tell me what
everyone
bananas
say
is.
banana. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Can we come up with our
that's
own
it.
word?
Yeah.
Maybe our own
Let's change
fruit, the grapes?
Plantains?
Plums?
Oh, look, we're losing it. You've nailed it. At 33 years of age, it's fitness. Libba going down helps. Do we know how long Libba's out for? That looked pretty serious.
Not sure how long he's out, but yeah, if he's injured
Huge.
start season, you can only imagine that's very good for Adam Treloar stocks.
Yeah, pedigree of Treloar. He's a point scorer. Again, an inside and outside player. Really good score build. Really good at the transition, but he's good at stoppage as well. So absolutely 10 points unders if he is fit. Yep, he's a lock if he's ready to go. My
Give
question
me the
is
track
to
argument. Oh, you got a question? Okay.
could you have
Classes in
both?
session. Yeah, you could, but I
Yep.
think if you have both, you probably don't have Shees. Would be my thinking.
Ooh, now that's
I know that
interesting.
you sent me a team with all
Yeah, I
3.
did. All 3.
I can't remember it off the whole team off the top of my head, and I thought, oh wow, that's interesting.
That's interesting.
It just feels like a lot of money in the forward line.
Yep.
You know, the thing about Treloar is obviously there's a level of injury prone to him.
Yeah.
And while I don't want that to dictate my pick of him, if I've got so much money sitting in my forward line, I don't know how I feel about having that much money plus factoring in that level of, you know, how injury prone he might potentially be.
Absolutely.
Can I ask what you had to sacrifice in order to, because I can see here there are probably 2 areas I can see you've sacrificed in order to get Sheasel, Track, Treloar, and Flanders into your forward line.
Briggsy was one of the ruckmen, which
Yep.
gave me a bit of space. And in the
cooling on.
midfield, I didn't have a Caldwell or a Big Dog and Goulden.
So Butters,
I think there's
Steele,
value in your
Walsh,
Butters, Steele, Walsh,
Oliver
Parrish, LDU. There's
okay.
really good value there that if they hit their straps, I think they're going to be up there, comparable. Especially
Well, this
as
is
I
an
said, I've
interesting
got
one.
I've got my Caldwell concerns. Rosie, I'm still patches with Port Adelaide. He's in the defensive line, but you know what I mean.
Yep. It's an interesting one. It'll be fun to play around with for sure. And interesting to see how structure looks. Take it away, mate. Give me the track argument.
The track, priced at 90. If he's fit, if he's motivated, if he's cooking meals on socials, this guy is unders. And the thing about track is, in terms of body and longevity in comparison to Treloar, I think I've got more confidence in a Petrarca from week to week. He's an impact player, but he's going to do it with a King, Humphrey, Long, Jamara if he's playing, because he's killing it at the moment. So I think defensive structures are going to have to look after King, one of the tallest players, Humphrey, one of the strongest players. Long had a cracking season last year, very underrated. And then suddenly you might have Jamara, who's going to be potentially a forward, a gun forward, and a co-ruck as well. So I think there's 2 goals in him as this forward player. Forward of stoppage at in the midfield. Again, he's a different player to Rowell. He's that Dustin Martin, and I think Hardwick has actually found his Dustin Martin of 2017. Let's face it, Dustin in 2017, he fit in with a Cochin, Prestia. He fit in with Graham as well. So I don't think the extra midfielders of Anderson, Millett, and Rowell are going to cut his scoring. That's my argument. I think he's going to be a solid floor of 90, but with that forward line and the way he's tracking at the moment, see what I did there? I think there could be
It's good.
5 to 8 points upside with the occasional 2-goal game. Is it enough for a starting pick? I don't know, but I think in terms of comparing Treloar and Track's injury history record, I think Track's a really good pick.
2 questions for you. Number 1, what do you think his ceiling is?
If we've got 2019 Petrarca, I think we hit the 115, 120.
Wow.
But
okay.
I think he will need that 2 goals in the forward line to assist getting to those ceiling games. He's not going to consistently hit that ceiling. Absolutely not. But if he's hitting 25, 28 disposals, 2 goals a game with some cuddles forward of stoppage and in that attacking 50, then I think he can hit those ceilings.
Question 2.
Yep.
What do you think the chances are that he's just not the same Petrarca of the past again? And because I think there's there is a history in sports, or there is a precedent in sports of players having pretty severe injuries and just not coming back the same. We don't wish for it, but it does happen. And we saw him last year. He was good, but he wasn't the same impact player that he's been in the past.
Yep.
What are the concerns that, Treloar is, say, injury prone? Is Track just not the guy he was? Or should we not factor that in?
Well, I think he was obviously unhappy with the way Melbourne went through his injury, his rehabilitation. He was pretty vocal about that. And I think just from an observer, from a fantasy perspective, I think he carried that and he was looking for that next club. I mean, the rumors were he was going to leave for the last 18 months. So I think you could see that in his footy, that he wanted that release. He wanted a fresh start. Suddenly he's gone to the Gold Coast where he's hit a coastal lifestyle, a different lifestyle under Hardwick. I mean, if you heard Hardwick do his pre-game talks, his season talks, the guy just looks like players would run through walls for him. And I think he's the right coach to bring Track back to where he was.
Like it. Let us know what you think. Adam Treloar, Christian Petrarca, both very comparable players from a fantasy perspective, not necessarily from a real life perspective, but from a fantasy perspective. So I think that'll be interesting options. We're nearly done. I just want to rattle off a few names. We're not going to talk about them. We're not going to analyze them. But obviously, we only covered 6 names across 3 lines. All of the other names that are rattling around at the moment, in the midfield, we got Zach Butters, Jack Steele, Sam Walsh, Clayton Oliver, Caleb Sarong even. I don't love Caleb Sarong. I feel like he just gets too many of his points at stoppage and not enough at transition. So I'm not really on him. LDU, in defense, you've got even like Nick Newman is obviously in there. We've got James Sicily. Could he make a comeback? I'm not convinced, but I go back and forward on it. Some days I like it, some days I don't. Sam Draper, Sam Flanders in the forward line as well. So we've got plenty of other names there that could all qualify as underpriced premiums. We just wanted to touch on these 6, especially if you're looking at some of these names and going, I need to make a decision between these 2 guys. Who do I like the most? Which of these arguments resonates with me? So again, let us know in the comments below. Let us know on Twitter which names you preferred out of each one. I will take it personally if you say that K-Man won every round. Just throwing that out there. Checks out. That's it. I think we're done. If you enjoy the content, give us a follow at the Contest Fantasy Footy Show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Again, chuck us a 5-star rating. Share us with your mates. Helps the pod grow. You can follow me on Twitter at Contest Fantasy. Yes. Yeah.
Hey, I got a raisin.
What?
Jagger.
Raise what?
Your boy Jagger. Are you going to talk about Jagger
I'm bringing
tomorrow?
it up next episode. It's the next episode, the draft episode. We're
I can't
talking
wait.
about that business.
I can't wait.
I'm sure. Yeah. People were pretty upset with me. Contest Fantasy, K-Man_TC Fantasy. See you later.